your fruits and vegetables?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Feeling good.
You look good.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. I've actually been trying to gain a lot of weight the past couple of weeks, and I'm just I'm trying to get that belly going. I'm trying to.
Hey.
I feel like if I get, it's hard to keep 2 feet planted on the ground. So I figure maybe if I gain 30 pounds, it'll be a little bit easier not to spiral. Fat guys are always in the pocket. Fat guys, usually if you have like a nice belly to you, it keeps you grounded,
Yeah, when I think of John Daly, I always think of someone who's grounded.
Exactly. 20 Diet Cokes a day, 1 fruit cig. Now, I know you don't have much time. I know you don't have much time today, but me and you share love for the greatest Italian writer besides Dante, of course. And well, I guess I don't know if you count Bruno, but Don DeLillo, Italian American.
Awesome.
So here's what's interesting. Here's what's interesting about him, right? It was probably his greatest work. I would agree with you. Now I've read Mao 2, White Noise, Libra. What's the one about Hitler? Running Dog.
Running Dog. Yeah.
And I don't know if I've read anything else by him, but I feel like I've kind of hit like the major works there. And
those are my favorites.
I think Libra is fantastic. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what it is, the reason we're talking about it is historical fiction. And it's about John F. Kennedy. It's specifically about Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, everybody has conspiracy theories, especially with the new JFK files coming out. 80,000 pages came out, and within a span of 15 minutes, people had already formed an opinion on it somehow, which just once again proves that no one's reading anything. But I mean, could you possibly... It's like when a podcast comes out and I'll see within 2 minutes that someone says the episode sucked. I'm like, you didn't even listen to it. So look, I'm not ruling out the timeline of Israel acquiring nuclear weapons. Some say that's why one of the reasons JFK was killed. I think it's a whole hodgepodge of people. Now, I mean, Don DeLillo, he read the everything that there was about John F. Kennedy.
Oh, he read all 20 volumes of the Warren Report.
And this is an Italian guy living in New York City. If he's not blaming it on the Jews, then I mean, I don't know why I should. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah. You know
what I mean?
You certainly should not blame it on the Jewish people because they weren't involved.
I had my sights on, Lyndon B. Johnson. Definitely wanted extenuated the war in Vietnam. And there's also nefarious things happening in the CIA there. And you also have the Cuban exiles that are working alongside there. Israel doesn't really, I don't know. I know they acquired nuclear weapons in 1967. And Israel was not happy with John F. Kennedy not wanting them to have nuclear weapons. But again, if Don DeLillo read everything, again, racist Italian novelist, great mind. If he didn't go there, I don't understand why we should. And he does a great job in this book. It's historical fiction, talking about Lee Harvey Oswald. And you're sympathetic not only toward Lee Harvey Oswald, but towards Jack Ruby, who is Jewish. But he's more paranoid than he is Jewish.
He was avenging Kennedy.
Right.
And he said he did it. He said he did it because he didn't want Jackie to suffer through a trial.
I think he also said he did it for his people or something along those lines.
I haven't heard that quote, but
wasn't he in the book? Wasn't he seeing billboards and he thought they were targeted toward him and everything?
I don't remember that part. He was a big nightclub owner in the Dallas area. He owned a number of strip clubs. I think there were at least 2 strip clubs. He's a fascinating figure too.
Yes,
on top of everything else.
As fascinating as Lee Harvey Oswald. Now,
man, that guy.
Well, this is the thing. I'm like, no one wants to talk about Lee Harvey Oswald, but it is I mean, the patsy. If you think he is a patsy, it's like, all right, let's unpack that. Who was the patsy? How did he fall into this?
Yeah, well, I don't think he was a patsy. I think he was a determined Marine with a bolt-action scoped rifle. That's what I think he was.
Well, we have proof he tried to kill a far right. Was it a guy running? Was it an attorney general or something like that, or a guy running for Senate?
No, he was a retired lieutenant. He was either a retired lieutenant general or brigadier general, and he tried to put a bullet in the guy's head from like 20 yards, but people believe that the bullet struck the glass in a certain way.
It's actually a pretty funny part in the book too, because
it is.
At some point, I kind of feel like Lee Harvey Oswald is like Wile E. Coyote or something. It feels very Looney Tunes. It's hilarious, actually.
It's totally Looney Tunes.
He's very similar to like Harrogate from Sutri, you know?
Yeah, he makes him into in DeLillo's hands, Oswald is somehow a tragic figure, which is that's how skilled DeLillo is.
Oswald shot at Walker. His name was General Edwin Walker. So this is in April of 1963. Right. Oswald shot at Walker through a window from less than 100 feet away, and he missed. The man was just sitting at his desk in his Dallas home. So,
yeah, the window is a factor there, right? So, depending on how that round from that Mannlicher carbine struck the window, it very well could have diverted. It doesn't mean that Oswald was a bad shot, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, from what I understand, he's actually a pretty damn good shot.
He was an excellent shot. He earned both an expert marksmanship badge in the Marine Corps and a sharpshooter badge. He was a terrific shot. I've looked at his range cards. His range cards are quite impressive, and that's I believe what the Marines did then, and they still do it now. They shot at for that score. They shot at 200-yard targets with open sights, with iron sights. So a guy who can like put rounds, down range, and with those groupings he got with. I guess he probably would have been training on the M14 or the Garand with like a rifle with iron sights, 200 yards. That's pretty skillful shooting.
Now, in the book, so very quickly, we'll kind of sum up everything with Oswald. He went to Russia. He tried to kill himself. He had been in contact, supposedly, according to DeLillo, with a lot of different factions in the CIA. And
that's the part I don't buy personally. Okay, that's the part I don't buy personally. Yeah, but DeLillo like gets he has a lot of fun with that.
He's having a good time writing this, and
great time.
So when Lee Harvey Oswald is taking the shots, Lee Harvey Oswald realizes that someone else is also shooting. Now, this is not. I think I was even seeing that Washington acknowledged in the early 70s that there had to be more than one shooter. This isn't something that filmmakers just figured out like 15 years ago. Like Oliver Stone wasn't the first guy to be like, no, this has been kind of a theory for a long time. In fact, I don't know if you've seen this. Richard Nixon making a joke on TV in the 70s about.
Amazing.
Have you seen him make that joke about hinting that Lyndon B. Johnson had John F. Kennedy killed?
No, but I mean that was a popular conspiracy around that time. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, Nixon's paranoid. It would make sense he believes it. But regardless, this. So I got this pulled up here. So Aaron, I don't know if you can see on the screen, but I have Dilly Plaza here, right? So here is the Here's the underpass, right? He's going this way. Lee Harvey Oswald just happened to be working at the Texas School Book Depository, right? Wasn't he working? Right. Yeah, so he was working here. He was in New Orleans before this, and supposedly his handler in the CIA called him and said, hey, how about you move to Dallas? We can get you a job here, right? And supposedly these people in the CIA in the book were in contact with people in Miami and other cities, and John F. Kennedy knew that they were staging something in these, and that's why he didn't go to Miami. right? In the book, I believe. This is what I remember. I read it like a year and a half ago. I should have reread it before calling you, but so they moved him here. They tell him that, hey, Kennedy happens to be going right by where you work. What a coincidence. You could be a hero. You could kill him. You'd be a communist hero. Then come to this movie theater. We'll pick you up. We'll ship you off, and there'll be a ticker tape parade for you. How's that sound? So when and in the book, when he's taking the shots here, he knows he misses with one of the shots, but then he sees a hit, and he knows someone else is firing from another location, which would be, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, this past the railroad yard here, there is a parking lot where supposedly, is it Cuban exiles are taking shots, or is someone hired by the CIA to take the real shot? Because obviously they don't trust Oswald. They just need a patsy so they can get away with this. In the book.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how that plays out in the book. But yeah, so in DeLillo's conception of this, part of what happens has to do with rogue elements in the CIA who have been kind of put out to pasture because of their anger over how Kennedy handled the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Correct.
Look at that shot. Look at that shot when he's coming down, when he's going, I don't have the directions here. It looks like north. But he's going toward the school book depository at 5 miles an hour. Gosh, what an easy shot that is, huh?
Yeah, you mean the first shot? The second and the third are a little bit harder. But the first shot in the book are the one that probably goes through his wrist.
Right. But even the shot, I mean, you're firing from an elevated position, right? So you have to do a trig formula in your head, which Oswald would have known. He would have been trained to do it on the fly. But then that 240-yard shot at the back of Kennedy's car, that's easy shooting with a scoped rifle. Man, it's 120 yards, easy.
Yeah, and the book doesn't deny that Oswald did hit him. It's just that there was another shooter. Now, you've done a ton of research on this. You are a war historian. You talk to mercenaries, you talk to all sorts of killing machines out there. And what do you make of this whole thing? And by the way, even if you don't agree with the book, it's incredible.
The book's incredible.
It's amazing. I mean, you're talking about, it goes from Lee Harvey Oswald when he was a little boy in the Bronx all the way up until, it's not like historical fiction where it's like, Tarantino has, Eli Roth shooting Hitler in a movie theater and burning it down. It's historical fiction, but it's what Don DeLillo thinks was going through Lee Harvey Oswald's head the whole way through, and what DeLillo actually thinks happens. And once Oswald is gone, we also get to see it through the perspective of Jack Ruby, and we also get to see the perspective of John F. Kennedy and what was going on through his head. It's
amazing.
God, it feels so real. It feels so real.
No doubt. Yeah, well, DeLillo read all 20 volumes of the Warren Report. I've done that, and I've read the rough drafts of the Warren Report. And here's why revision is important, Ben, because in those early drafts of the Warren Report, it says Kennedy was killed by a drunk driver. So who knows?
Wait, are you serious? Are you doing a joke?
I'm joking.
Oh,
yeah,
I was about to say, it's so funny. I'm like, man, you could tell the public anything back then.
Yeah.
I mean, now you could actually tell people anything. The viral thing on X is that a Secret Service agent turns around in the limo and blows JFK's head off or something with a pistol in his jacket. It's so retarded.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, that of all the things that didn't happen most.
Yeah, there'd be powder residue on him if the shot was that close anyway. Yeah.
The interesting thing to me is that Oswald is so friggin' nuts he tries to relocate, to immigrate to the Soviet Union. And at first, the Soviets don't want him.
He's an idiot.
They take one look at him. He's an idiot. And they're like, oh, you're a freaking spy. But then, like, it seems like the KGB was like, nah, let him in. We'll watch him. And they set him up in a pretty nice setup, man. They gave him a good job, good pay. He met a beautiful Russian woman and got married. And then he got homesick and wanted to go back home and assassinate the president.
Well, that's before he did that, though. He slit his wrists in a bathtub and said his goodbyes.
Yeah, doesn't seem like a stable guy. Kind of seems like the type of dude that takes some shots at a president.
Well, unfortunately, he's also like a massive loser, right? Like he's
Total
such a
loser.
simp for Castro, which is really like funny and like pathetic, right? So like he's I believe that doesn't he write in his diary under a different pseudonym? And his name is like James Hiddell. And his wife confronts him at one point and goes, is your name in your diary Hiddell because it's close to Fidel? And he was like, you know nothing. Shut up. Don't go do my things. Like, he's such a nerd. He's such a nerd where he's like, yeah, it sounds like Fidel. Or maybe it was letters he was writing to the newspaper under the name Hiddell. I can't remember, but he basically got on his like influences and his love for Fidel Castro, and he was really embarrassed by that. He's such a loser. Man, but that's what you need. If he is a mark, he's got to be an idiot, really, right? You don't want someone who's super savvy and like paranoid and like always thinking someone's going to get one over on them. That person's too intelligent, right? You want someone that will believe like, hey, if you kill John F. Kennedy, you're actually not going to go to prison. You're going to be you're going to be a hero. Everyone's going to love you. You're going to be king, actually.
Yeah, he's like talking to his wife. Oh, get over here. Take a picture of me with the murder weapon and a pistol on my hip.
Some people still think that is photoshopped, by the way.
I know. Okay, here's the thing, right? With any kind of, if you watched any kind of true crime stuff, I just mean like your average, some poor schmo is smoked by somebody in a parking lot and then that goes to trial. Man, if you delve deeply enough into even any local murder, you see that it's harder and harder to figure out what actually happens. Now, like, blow that up a million times into the murder of a president when there are all these extenuating circumstances. It doesn't speak well for Oswald's innocence that as soon as he fled the book depository, he shot and killed a cop.
Yeah.
It doesn't speak well for like, I'm just a patsy.
I don't care. I can't remember if that cop died or not. Did that cop die?
You know what? Now that you say that, I'm not sure.
That cop was just like, hey, this guy kind of matches a description of someone I think we might be looking for. And what's funny in that interaction is Oswald could have got away with it, but again, he's an idiot.
Easily. He's an idiot. He's
He's a complete moron. It's so funny.
I mean, the people on Twitter always talking about IQ never turn that energy toward Lee Harvey Oswald. It's like, hey, you want to talk about IQ? Here's a guy we can talk about.
Yeah, Lee Harvey Oswald. So you buy actually the lone gunman theory, which I find questionable.
I know it's not based at all. It's very cringe of me to believe and back the official narrative. I don't see why and I've looked. I know the magic bullet and all that kind of stuff. I've heard the evidence laid out. I've listened to it. I think it's interesting, but I don't believe there is a conspiracy because there doesn't need to be a conspiracy, because you have an expert marksman in a 6th floor window with a scoped rifle firing at a slow moving target from 90 and then 240 feet. That's a hog killing, man.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it's interesting, Aaron, because it seems that you're the odd man out with that.
I am the odd man out. I'm the odd man out. No, it's much more interesting to believe that, and actually, it's much more comforting to believe that JFK was killed by the CIA, the mob, factions from
Well, it can certainly be assumed that they were happy that he got killed because the
Oh,
country
they
was
didn't-
going
they
one
didn't-
way and then it went the other.
They didn't shed any tears, but
And I do know this. I do know heroes are crucified and cowards live forever. So
that's correct. But here's the thing. Right? Is it more comforting to you to think that this great president, this beloved man, this guy that was going to make all these changes, he was young, he was glamorous, all that kind of stuff, that in order to kill him, you needed a grand conspiracy involving CIA and rogue actors and possibly Soviets and the frickin' mob? Or is it more comforting to believe that a determined Marine who was out of his mind blew the president's head off? I would personally find it way more comforting to believe that it takes a great conspiracy to bring down a great man. But that's not the truth. And we know from history that a lot of people just walk up and shoot great people.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's actually more horrific to think Oswald acted alone, because that means that any person we admire could get their ticket punched, just like John Lennon did, just like Reagan almost did, just like Gerald Ford almost did. Right?
You're calling the conspiracy people like cowards almost. Like it's not actually fantastical. Your life can end at any moment. And that's how it works.
Well, I'm not saying they're cowards. I get it. I think the stories around it are interesting. I don't think they're cowards. I don't think they're stupid or anything like that, or uninformed. I don't think any of that. I think it's comforting for people to think that there's a conspiracy around these events. It's way more interesting. It's way more fun. And it's way more depressing and horrifying to think any dummy with a rifle who's been trained to shoot can kill you. I mean, by the way, we just witnessed this past summer. That dude put a bullet through Trump's ear.
And then in the chat, they're asking if you're Jewish.
Well, I wish. Tell them I wish. Tell them I wish I was.
No, Aaron's what's it called? An Okie from Muskogee?
I'm an Okie. Yeah, I'm an Okie from Seminole County. I'm Scots-Irish. I wish I was lucky enough to belong to the Jewish people, but no, I'm just a dirty white boy.
Yep.
And now I see, this is the way conspiracy works, right? People will be like, oh, that's what a cover. He created this cover and he moved from New Jersey to the wilds of Oklahoma so he could come on a Lemon Party live stream and sell a false
Yep.
about JFK.
Yep.
I love it. And don't ever try to discourage any rumors, because rumors are interesting. Conspiracies are interesting. Facts are boring.
Yeah. That is kind of true. That is kind of true, but I mean, listen, man, haven't we been bred to sit around the campfire and the tale of tale or two? I mean, hell, man. I mean,
do you think? But hold on a second. Do you think like the first caveman, like they were out like trying to steal someone's like venison, and then like a dude got clubbed in the head, and they get back home and they're sitting around, and one of the cavemen goes, I think there was a second clubber.
Yeah,
I think that there was someone hiding on the grassy knoll.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it was a Jewish bear. Now, Aaron.
Man, this has really gone in a dark.
I will say this,
This
Aaron.
conversation about the murder of a president has really taken a dark turn.
So here's where you fucked up bad, all right? Because I'm gonna stop you there. First of all, because you're way too binary with this. It could be nuanced. I think Lee Harvey Oswald wanted to kill the president, and also there were plans in motion that he wasn't privy to.
No, that's
So
possible.
there is a
That's
nuance.
possible.
So it's a nuance thing. That's what DeLillo's is, right? The other thing is also they scooped out his fucking brains. The autopsy was all fucked up.
Yeah. No, the autopsy. Okay, that is a real thing, right? Like that autopsy was messed up, and it was amateur hour, and there were all these people in the room while the doctors were performing the autopsy, the surgeons that shouldn't have been in the room. Here's the thing, man. I'm telling you, you watch any true crime series, especially any interesting one, and you'll see like all of these things start to unravel, right? Oh, why was this? Why was this? What is this coincidence? What, like anything you look deeply into enough, it begins to kind of like take all these forking paths. Someone is accusing Brett Gelman of having shot Trump. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
Hold on, let's hear him out. We'll have him on the show. Let's hear him out.
Oh, a guy in the chat said, I'm from Oklahoma and nobody refers to themselves as Okies except, I don't know what followed that, but he's right. I've never heard anyone say, like, from Oklahoma call themselves an Okie. So he's absolutely. Oh, and then I read the rest of that sentence. Never mind. By the way, I know for one thing that La Big Mac is actually from Oklahoma because that's certainly the type of thing someone from Oklahoma
Yeah, of course. It's his culture. I mean, what else do you guys have? You guys have nothing up there.
Meth. We have methamphetamines. We have militias.
Everybody has meth and militias. It's nothing. There's nothing that stands out.
Ben,
you're known because you're above Texas. You're known because of the neighbor.
Is not your costume. Here we go. It only takes one live stream to like just completely melt our friendship. We like completely go to war over which side of the Red River we're from. It's freaking hilarious.
Why do you think it's complete like improbable that there was more shooters than just Lee Harvey?
Okay, here's what I would say to that. It kind of begs the question. I don't see why there would need to be additional shooters.
I think to make sure the job gets done. Isn't that a fair enough Occam's razor?
Okay, so from a planning perspective, like if you were like, say it was rogue elements of the CIA, say it was Cuban dissidents, the mob, whatever. It would make sense if you were planning something to try to get the job done. But Lee Harvey Oswald is perfectly capable of doing that shooting, right? You don't need to add extra shooters to account for how the president was shot when you've got a trained Marine marksman, sharpshooter in a window with a scoped rifle.
So my problem with him being capable of doing this is the fact that he has not killed anybody in war. He has not taken anybody's life. He has not fired at an enemy. So if he's in a situation where he actually has to kill somebody, and I mean, the way he botched a guy sitting still in his room makes me think that this guy doesn't have unfortunately, I don't think Lee Harvey Oswald has what it takes. I think he gets buck fever. He's standing up there. His legs are shaking. He can't. He's just trying to hit the road. He's just trying to hit the damn road. We're not talking about a target. We're not talking about a guy laying down with the rifle laying on a couple sandbags, and he's firing. And Aaron, you got to factor this in: cold gun. You know, firing a cold gun, it's harder to fire a cold gun.
It's cold. He's firing cold bore. Here's what I would say to that: if he doesn't have what it takes, why does he shoot a cop 5 minutes later?
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair.
So the guy's out of his damn mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, that's fair. He did get paranoid, and I can't remember what he shot the cop with. If it was his own gun or something, but I know there was a scuffle. Forget the exact details.
I believe Oswald had. Well, we know he had a pistol from the famous doctored photo. So yeah, Thank you so much.
Yeah, I haven't been able to. I haven't been able to confirm whether or not that photo is doctored, but upon looking into that famous photo of him, it's very, very suspicious. And I have not seen anybody trace the source or anything like that and confirm or deny. So,
can you bring it up for the people to see real quick?
yeah, of
so
course.
Everyone.
Yeah.
It's an interesting photo, right?
Let's see here. Lee Harvey. What food do you got there, buddy? I can hear a Postmates order being unwrapped.
Man, got some noodles this evening. Gonna really chow down on some noodles.
Okay, here we go. So here is the photo that supposedly is faked, Aaron. This is the one we're talking about here. That this rifle has been put in post, actually. Holding the rifle, holding the papers of him with the rifle. Right here. They're wondering if this was faked back then, so it could be, you know, it's just forged evidence, you know, like, oh, we got a picture of him. Just put a gun in there.
Hold on a second. Okay.
Put a gun in there. And by the way, I've seen cop footage of them throwing a gun by a black guy. You know,
Ben, could you bring a picture up on the screen that doesn't say fake and
Well, this is the photo, though.
No, it is. Well, yeah, that's the photo.
Yeah,
that's
here.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so in I believe Stone's JFK movie and maybe the documentary as well, they talk about, you know, in one photo he looks to be holding the gun with one hand, but in the other photo it's the other hand. I'm not a photographer. That could probably be explained by that thing that happens with photographs. It happens to me all the time when I try to post something, the photograph gets flipped. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a reason to believe that photo is doctored. It's not beyond the pale. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that for what purpose? To frame Oswald?
I mean, it's just like, you know, I mean, the people will remember it if there is some sort of, we need a token. We need to see a guy with the gun that he's, you know,
sure.
That's what you need. Here's the hunter. JFK was the prey. Here's the hunter. Wow, he even took a photo with the gun. Oh my God. He must have been holding that gun all the time. He was like Jimi Hendrix with his electric guitar. It probably never left his side.
I'm hesitant to even say this, but does the fact that his wife said she took the photo cut any mustard, or do you feel like that's not really relevant?
Well, it says here the Dartmouth professor finds that iconic Oswald photo was not faked, but I have no idea. I've seen stuff that broke it down. I can't find it at the moment and has explained it. You know, so here's another thing too. If we do have confirmation that Oswald said in prison, he said to people he didn't do it. You know, if he didn't he think people would think he's a hero, right? And that this was a good thing. So why would he deny it then?
Well, we don't know what he actually thought about why he was doing this. And before he could, I mean, they took him to Dallas, probably like the Dallas City Jail or that, you know, whatever county jail was nearby. They interrogated him. A cop punched him. We know that. They had a big bruise, right? And apparently he did get into a scuffle with the officers when they apprehended him in the theater. So, like, he was only in custody a few hours, I believe, not very long, right?
That's correct.
When they marched him out into the parking lot and there was Jack Ruby, and he put one in his gut, you know.
And Jack Ruby, the whole thing is very easy to explain with Jack Ruby. How he got in there.
Yeah.
He was a guy that he was a fucking loser. He would bring donuts and sandwiches to the cops all the time and be like, thank you for keeping us safe.
No, he socialized. No, and some of the strip clubs he owned were like cop hangouts in Dallas, right? So he socialized with like, you know, officers on the force and with like lieutenants and, you know, fairly higher up people. He was one of those dudes who just wants to be around like anything tough. You know, they're not tough, but they think if they can get close enough to a tough guy, that makes them tough.
He was like a Richard Jewell type of guy. He was hanging out He was hanging out at the cop station all the time. It was not weird to see him whatsoever there.
No, you can even see him. There's footage of him at a press conference that the police were giving, and a reporter asked a question. I think the PR rep didn't know the answer, and Ruby answered it from the back of the room.
Do you think he went crazy in prison because someone was dosing him? Or do you think he went crazy? Yeah, do you think he went crazy? Supposedly he had visions of hell and he was dying in the Holocaust over and over and screaming about his people and Jews and everything.
I mean, I think people who murder others in cold blood, I don't mean this in a joking way, I think they often develop serious psychiatric problems, and he probably had somewhat of a psychiatric problem before to even just decide, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw away my life to shoot Oswald.
So you've interviewed a lot of mercenaries and people who have murdered other human beings. Do you see any similarities between them and Lee Harvey Oswald? You know, a hired gun, so to speak?
No, like the people I've spoken with are way more disciplined and just way more intelligent about what they do. I mean, they would never for one thing, they would never shoot a president. And
not
then they wouldn't
country.
do all this. Not of this country. And then they wouldn't, I mean, and then they certainly wouldn't be so dramatic about everything and attract attention to themselves. And they certainly wouldn't try to get Russian citizenship.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
I mean, that's the craziest thing about Oswald. But that fact alone, that at the height of the Cold War, when he's demobilized and gets out of the Marines, gets back from Japan, that he uses the fact that American base in Japan, which was a launching ground for the U-2 spy plane, right? And so, which was something obviously Russia was very interested in, the Soviet Union was very interested in, that he uses that to kind of get his foot in the door to get into the Soviet Union. And the Russians were so skeezed out about it, they couldn't believe an American was trying to immigrate to the Soviet Union.
Yeah, they're like, who's this idiot? He was trying to get rid of his citizenship papers completely to the United States.
It's amazing, right? And then of course he's an idiot, so he gets over there and he's like, I'm homesick. I want to go home. Which you would be homesick, of course. I don't even know if he spoke Russian very well.
Of course he didn't. He's an idiot. But Aaron, regardless, you just said that he does not have the character or makeup of a hired gun, yet you believe he also did kill the president of the United States and acted alone with no contact with anybody.
That's correct. I don't believe he had the personality of a hired gun. I think he had the personality of a lunatic who was hired by no one.
Do you think someone was going to try and kill John F. Kennedy in Miami, and that was correct intelligence that they got?
Oh, well, we know that Kennedy had planned, because starting his campaign for 64, right? His presidential campaign. And he wanted to go to like certain southern cities. And, you know, the Secret Service said Miami is way too hot, especially after Bay of Pigs. You've got a lot of people pissed off at you right now, Mr. President. You can't go to Miami. We just can't. We can't like guarantee your safety. So Kennedy, you know, said, "Oh, okay, too dangerous. That's fine. I'll go to Dallas, Texas." Which, you know, Kennedy is a great guy. You know, he's a brilliant man.
Well, someone mentioned to them like, "Hey, you probably got a lot of enemies there."